Ryan Watts, though, we picked him up.
Ryan
didn't get DJ James, but we did get a
Yeah.
cornerback, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you, kinda. I guess he's an
intriguing prospect.
the size, the athleticism, sure. Corner, safety. Yeah, I like it a little bit more. Like it a lot more. But I think that worst case, like we talked about, and you said it earlier, the profile of him is, we're looking for big corners, dudes that can put hands on you, bullies, and his physical stature fits that. I personally think that he could translate to the safety spot extremely well. Seeing Deshaun Elliott, we talked about, on draft night, sitting down with the interview with him, man. Deshaun, very similar frame in terms of that 6'1", 6'2", but with Ryan, we're seeing potentially 6'3". At least that's what they have him listed as. Also, dudes that are willing to tackle and not just drag down tacklers. We're talking knockback tacklers. The guys that are going to be exploding through their hips, not the guys that are, taking it in. They fall on their backside. They're like, hey, fall on top of me, please. That's the type of tackler when you watch Ryan, he's exploding out of his hips, and that's a good sign. That is what you want to see. But that's also why I feel like he has the potential to move to safety because of he can cover well enough in certain outside zone concepts as an outside corner. But when you talk about playing safety, he's going to match up well with any tight end, with any running back. You're not going to have any concerns about that. But he also has the ability to fill the alley on some of those run plays or some of those screen plays in the alley, as I'm talking about that area between the numbers and the hash marks, right? Where the tackle is and that wide receiver, and we always try to get to the perimeter, and that's where you want action at. And you want to see, is that little corner going to get off that block, or is that safety willing to come in and, face up one of these running backs or having a pulling guard or somebody coming out there? Can he foot fake and make that play? That's what we're hunting. That's what we're trying to accomplish. I think Ryan Watts, though, he can excel in those situations. I think that he's more than a willing participant there. And that's more so where I like the upside with him. When we talked about him at slot corner, I think you still got to do more of the big body, fire zones, cover twos, Tampa 2, which we know we run a lot of, and let him work like that, or you're blitzing. But I don't love him in terms of having to man up versus any of these smaller guys that have a ton of lateral quickness. I think he will struggle with that.
Could be a tell having him on the field then.
It could. But the question is, if you're not going to utilize him in terms of the bigger slot corner, then you're going with the DeMonte Casey approach, or let's see, what was the other cat that we because you said Darius Rush potentially, but now we're talking Miles Killebrew, Jalen Elliott. You know what I mean? Like, it's just getting thinner. That's all.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about
potentially
exactly. Signing a slot corner.
Yep,
we need
definitely
someone.
why, man. It's definitely why.
Yeah, but who knows how he develops? Like, his game might
improve
over the next couple of years here, being in the system.
And there's no
because I don't have any expectations for him this year.
Yeah,
outside of just helping us for special teams. Same thing with Logan Lee.
Yeah,
it's like you're just here to compete with Liao and Loudermilk and give us some D line depth.
Exactly what you said. No expectations. I was gonna word it just differently by saying there is not a rush for either one of them dudes to play. We got ample bodies in that D-line. We got ample bodies, or we feel like we have ample bodies at corner, or at least safety, that we would put out there before we got to Ryan Watts or before we got to Logan Lee. So it does allow those guys at least the time to develop, the time to buy themselves time. But special teams is where they're going to have an impact, and that's where we'll obviously see.
Yeah, your team's in a tough spot if you're begging for your 6th and 7th round picks to be your starters or having some critical playing time for you.
Yeah, I mean, think about Puka Nacua though, man. Middle round, but it's like, he developed into a wide receiver
like
one
it could happen, but
like
after the draft, Rams fans aren't sitting there saying Puka Nacua is about to be our number 2.
Like, no, I'm with you, but I'm saying like it takes it can happen, but it's like it's rare. Yeah.
Oh, it could definitely happen.
This show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. We talking about the top rated sportsbooking app in North America. I mean, we like to call them the GOAT, right? When we're talking about them, that's what they refer to as. And not only do we talk about them, okay, we also come bearing good gifts, and that is by way of a promo code. So for all the new customers out there, man, when you first download the app, Use the promo code MOATS. You make that initial deposit of $5. You will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly to use for potential, wagers. It's a dope concept. But we also know that the NBA playoffs are going on right now, and it is spicy, crazy action. Definitely like all that we're seeing out there, man. But if you want to get a little extra, activation when you're watching the games, they also have the No Sweat SGP/SGPX everyday bets going on for the NBA playoffs, all right? And that's for all customers as well. Pretty dope. But we also understand that, man, sometimes when you're having fun, you might have a little bit too much fun. And when you're having too much fun, you might develop a gambling problem. You might need some crisis counseling or even referral services. And for the people in New York, these are the numbers that you could text or dial. But for everybody else, the digits to dial are 1-800-GAMBLER. I said 1-800-GAMBLER.